But basically, what it seemed like to me in the thing game was that they would they would introduce you to like new partners, and then they would either transform or die at these scripted events, and then you would go to the next stage, and the same thing would pretty much happen. And so I think the issue was that they couldn't figure out a way to give the player the level of flexibility to where, like, okay, you can make it so the one guy you partner with in level 2, you can somehow make it like make him survive up until level 6 or something like that. I think that was the issue, if you ask me. I think that they just couldn't figure out a way to allow the player to have that kind of flexibility where you could, okay, you could potentially take someone from level 2 and have them survive up to level 4 or 5 or 6, or from level 3 to 6 or shit like that. That's what I think it was. I don't think they knew how to give the player that kind of flexibility. That was bad. That was bad. That was a straight up bad encounter. Oh boy, that was just a bad encounter. What can I say? But I'm not even really surprised. I'm not even surprised. Somehow it's like, cause I already know these dogs have always been an issue for me. Remember, that was one of the first deaths I had trying to attempt this shit, was because of those damn dogs. I know I said earlier that I got plenty of healing items, but you know, at some point, something's got to give. You know, you can't afford to be taking hits like that. I mean, I burned through a lot right there. I just burned through a lot. Like that was supposed to be a come up, and that just completely negated it, pretty much. I mean, I still have plenty, but I mean, that was terrible. That was, I can't even. That was nothing less than just. See, come on, man. That's what I mean. These dogs are really just cheap shit, man. Once you got them, but God fucking damn it. That was bad. But oh well, now we're back. I had to use so many healing items that I don't even have to go back. I wasted healing items, wasted bullet. That was just bad. Just bad. But you know, it's a setback, not the end of the world. So Overall, we're still in good. We're in good shape. Okay, right here. I can put the crank up and okay. Well, so now it's time for the guardhouse. You know, now I have the confidence that there's nothing in that bathtub. I've done it enough times now that I no longer have to wonder, baby. Perfect. Finally, some good shooting. That dog part was terrible. Terrible. The good thing about it though, when you're right there, you got the healing items to deal with it. And see, I know I could have ran away, but I wanted to go ahead and kill him. And I'd already invested ammo into killing him, you know? I just felt like it was better to just go ahead and get it out the way, you know? This could be dangerous. This could be dangerous. I better take a healing item. I might even have to heal again. As far as like taking damage, this run has been bad. Straight up, it's been bad. This run has been bad for me. Perfect. You couldn't ask for better positioning, man. Yeah, there we go. Fuck. Okay. So we did a good job there. Crap. Yeah, I knew though. I've had some bad moments here. Cause I'm out of Beretta ammo, I think. That's proof positive right there. Like how the hell you run out of Beretta ammo this early? That's your bread and butter for killing basic shit. 958. You The other thing I remember about that the Thing game was that let me think. Once you get towards the end, you start killing humans, like humans with guns. And I feel like survival horror games always go off the rails once you start doing shit like that. It should never get to a point where you're killing other humans who have guns. Like, to me, like, that always represents a drop in quality and enjoyment of the game every time, just like Resident Evil 5. And towards the game, that's exactly what happens. You start getting into it with people with guns and shit. It's crazy. All right, so here's a bit of good news. Earlier I was talking about how there are a lot of survival horror games from yesteryear that are quite expensive now. Some of them ranging from like $50 to $100. So I made a thread on the video game board, and I was asking the guys there, I was like, do you think that games being available for digital download is going to prevent these price spikes in physical copies of games that we often see? So that we often see now with games from previous generations, going back to like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, N64, GameCube, PlayStation 2. Is having a lot of these modern games available for digital download and purchase, is that going to prevent significant price hikes? And I got some interesting answers. And one guy has suggested that it won't, because just look at how we have emulation available to us, right? You can emulate a lot of these old games. You don't have to buy it. You could emulate Silent Hill 2. You can emulate Resident Evil Outbreak File 2, things like that. So it's not as if these games are just completely unavailable if you don't have the money to purchase a physical copy. Emulation is definitely an option. Yet we still have these significant price hikes, right? With these old ass games, as much as we might love them. And really, to be honest, some of these games aren't even great. I'll just being real with some of these games. They ain't even really good, and they still high as shit just because they're rare. But see, I think it's a difference. I think it's a difference between emulation and digital download. Because the thing about emulation that you have to consider is one, let's be real, technically it's legal. It's illegal to download ROMs. One caveat being that if you actually have the physical copy of the game already, then really, if you're looking at it from a moral standpoint, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? You have the games, you bought the game, you have it. Maybe it's scratched up, so maybe it's a way to still be able to play it while sidestepping the limitations of owning physical copies and the inevitable wear and tear that they will have to go through. Oh, I got all that. So for some people, emulation isn't an option because of the legal aspect of it. I mean, whether you can agree with them or not, everybody has their own sense of right and wrong, and the fact is, some people just aren't comfortable with emulating and downloading games that they didn't purchase legally, which is fair. That's a fair stance. But also another thing that people don't that guy didn't take into consideration too, that I think is fairly important, is that a lot of people don't really know how to emulate, because emulation isn't like this perfect thing. Like they're all like you still need a PC or a laptop that's powerful enough to emulate these games in the first place. Now, that's not an issue when you're talking about emulating like old Super Nintendo games or something, but once you get up into like PlayStation and especially like PS2, GameCube era, you're gonna need more than a basic bitch laptop to run a lot of those games properly. So that's another issue. Everybody doesn't have a gaming laptop or PC that's capable of emulating within the optimal range. And then on top of that, there are sometimes games just have like these glitches or just don't tend to emulate correctly. Like I know, for example, there's a dancing game called Bust a Groove, and one of the issues that you'll see a lot when people try to emulate it is that because it's a dance and rhythm game, so like your inputs have to be like timing of your inputs is very important. And for whatever reason, on most emulators, when you try to emulate Bust a Groove, the input timing is off by like maybe like half a second or a second. So it makes it very difficult to play the game the right way. Now I did find a way to fix it. But still, like those, it's stuff like that you run into. And what basically my point is, I think that emulation isn't nearly as reliable as digital download. Because at least when you buy the game digitally, you know that you're getting a product that's gonna work correctly on the whatever system, PC, console you choose to play it on. Okay, let me focus real quick. I gotta make this goddamn B joke. So 2 and 4. I'm gonna do the 7 first. 3, which is 1 and 2. Okay. All right, no small talk. We gotta get this done. Okay, there we go. All right, that's the 3. Now we need the 4. Okay, that's the 7. Now we need the 6, which is a 2 and a 4. Okay, and now we need the 3. All right. Which is a 1 and a 2. Oh, my bad. Not over here. I should know this by now. B joke. Okay, back to the save room. But yeah, I think that I mean I get what he was trying to say, but I think he was kind of he was overestimating the amount of people who are really fine with emulating and are even capable, like have the specs to emulate to, at least to like a reasonable enough level. Because I dabble in emulation every now and then on my laptop. Now it's not a gaming laptop, so obviously my results vary quite a bit. But but it's a good example of like it's a good example of the limitations of emulation compared to buying buying the game digitally. But they did make a good point though. They did make a solid point because even though I know emulation isn't always a convenient option for people, but it's still something that's there. Not only is it there, but I mean it's really there. Like I mean just access to entire libraries of games for pretty much nothing. Like all you got to do is have a little bit of internet savvy to know how to set it up, where to get certain things, and have a just the money that you invest into a laptop or PC that's good enough to emulate up to around like PS2 or Xbox, GameCube era. In the end, it would be worth it if you think about it, especially if you consider yourself a gamer. Someone who games quite a bit. It makes sense. But the point that somebody made that I thought was pretty good was, for a lot of people who go out of their way to buy physical copies of games, a lot of it is nostalgia. It's a nostalgia factor of having that physical copy, of having that game, and being able to see it, being able to see it and stack it up with your other games and put it on the shelf and look at it and know that it's there. Like, it goes beyond just playing the game. Basically, it goes beyond that. Being able to load up your console or your PC and then like see like a digital representation or a visual of your gaming library, just it doesn't hit the same as having like a stack of games. Like, even yesterday I went to a friend's house and I was going through a stack of games, and I was kind of joking, saying that my stack was catching up to his and shit. We had a good laugh about it. But that's a good point, though. That's a good point. For some people, it's not just about having access to the game. It's about having that physical copy, and just the nostalgia factor of that, and being able to collect something and have it and display it. That's a part of it. But to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not even sure. I'm still not sure, because I just think that emulation and digital downloads I think that there's a significant enough difference as far as like convenience and legality. It's an acceptable way of buying games, and some games you can only buy digitally because there are no physical copies. Like, what happens when like, is there ever going to be a point where developers stop releasing physical copies altogether? Will it become like more of a novelty thing than the standard? Again, it's a lot of possibilities there, but I just think it's a good question, because when I look at how a lot of the games from like my era of gaming when I was a kid was anywhere from like PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, and PS2, Xbox. Like, that was like my childhood era right there. Wait a minute, let me see. Am I tripping? I want to go here, right? Okay. But yeah, I see a lot of games from that era that are just so expensive. Not like crazy expensive, but just, you would think that an old game wouldn't be worth as much as a lot of these old games are. There we go. You would think some old mediocre game wouldn't be like, just for example, right? And this is a very good example of what I'm talking about. So, like I said earlier, I was looking around for like different like old survival horror games I could probably buy, right? And so I came across Cold Fear, which was like at the time, it was considered to be like a Resident Evil 4 ripoff. You know, it's a survival horror game that takes place on like a ship or something like that. And the game is, it's not like it's a game that gamers talk about or rave about, or I'm sure it has its fans and its detractors like any game, but overall it's barely remembered. And if it's remembered for anything, it's remembered for being like mediocre compared to what it was trying to copy in Resident Evil 4. But that game is worth like $50 used, give or take, right? And Resident Evil 4, you can get Resident Evil 4 for like all these different consoles for like $5 or $10, even though it's vastly superior. So it's just it's funny to me how sometimes sometimes mediocre games are some of the most expensive, and even more expensive than like the games that were really good. I mean, that never ceases to amaze me. When I go on Amazon and I see something like Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, and the lowest price for it is like 1 penny, or somewhere around that, and then something like Cold Fear is worth $50. Like it doesn't make sense. But obviously the reasoning is because of rarity. You know. Cause you see, what tends to happen, the reason why a game like Metal Gear or Resident Evil 4 would be cheaper than a game like Cold Fear or Zombie Revenge or some shit, the reason is because, you know, those are like AAA big production titles. So when they come out, there are a lot of physical copies released. There are a lot of big sales. You're talking millions of copies sold, and so there is no there is no shortage of these games to go around. But when these lesser games come out, you know, these games that aren't as popular or well received, and typically developers, publishers, whoever, they know they know, okay, this game is probably not going to sell that great, so we're not going to make, you know, 5 million copies or something like that. You know, if it's a low budget game where there's a low expectation as far as sales, they might make 200,000 copies or something like that. Compared to like a Metal Gear Solid release, they know, okay, this game is gonna sell truckloads of copies, so we can go ahead and safely produce millions of copies of this game, and it's not gonna come back to bite us in the ass. But still, I think it's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see, like moving into the future. I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes open to see, like, if there's a oh, hold up, cutscene here.
Wesker.
Jill, so you're safe.
That's what I was going to say. Where on earth have you been? You disappeared from the hall all of a sudden.
I'm sorry, but I have my reasons. Perhaps you guys have met them? It was all I could do to protect myself against those strange creatures.
Is that right? Anyway, it's good to see you're safe.
Jill, our first priority is to get out of here.
Yes, you're right.
Now, there are a lot of rooms in that mansion that we can't get into because they're locked up. I have been looking around for clues.
Okay, I'll go to the other house and see if I can find any clues.
Will you do that? I'm counting on you.
Okay. But yeah, it's gonna be very fascinating to see like if we see that same trend of like older games becoming very pricey because of like rarity. You know, the imbalance in supply and demand. Because you would think that, you know, having the option of buying these games digitally would deter that a bit, but really only time is going to tell, man. Like, to be real with you, I'm not sure. Like, just as an example, right? Now, I have Evil Within, right? I got it for pretty cheap. I got Evil Within for the low. But that's the second one. I got Evil Within 2 for the low, right? So obviously I got 2, I want 1. Now I beat 1 on PS3 years ago, but I would still like to have the game again, you know, on PS4 and complete the set. Wait, did I have it on PS3 or PS4? I forgot which one. I had it on something. PS3, PS4. I had it on something. Let's see. I should probably just take the Beretta. So I have 2 and I want 1, right? But for whatever reason, 1 is more expensive than 2. Not by a lot, but it's like it seemed like the last time I checked, it's been a while since I checked, so maybe things have changed. But the last time I checked, that game was like somewhere around like $30 to $40 or something. And when I saw that, I was kind of like, uh-oh. Right? I was like, uh-oh. Is it happening already? Why is Evil Within like 30, 40? Like, why is the first Evil Within like worth so much? Why is that shit worth $30, $40? And the second one isn't even worth as much.
This is Brad. I know you can't answer me, but somehow, give me a sign.
This is Jill. Brad? Oh, it's broken.
So when I see stuff like that, it kind of spooks me. It spooks me a little bit because it just makes me think that we're gonna go through the same thing again with a lot of these games becoming rare and hard to find, and then the physical copy becoming pretty pricey beyond what's actually reasonable considering the age and even sometimes the quality of the game. You want to know the funniest thing, bro? You got games that are worth more now than when they were first released. I mean, you look at something like Silent Hill 2, right? When that game came out, it had to be worth like what, $40 to $60 or something. This is a good position. I could have sworn there was another one in here. Okay. Okay, now I have to really focus. Mansion Part 2 is definitely one of the most difficult parts of this attempt here. I did pretty well the first time. Probably should have brought more health though. Okay. I'm gonna just go ahead in here first. I know I'm gonna have to come back, but oh shit, I wasn't at full health, so I could use it, so I don't have to come back. But the bad thing about it, I only got one healing item. If I do get hurt, I can just leave and go back to the guardhouse. But this is gonna be kind of risky. Especially since I'm using grenade rounds and not the acid rounds. Because as you know, we got two bad boys over here. Okay, we made it. It wasn't that bad. We got carved up a little bit, but overall it was okay. Overall it was good. Okay, so put these up. Absolutely no need for the Beretta right now. I will grab this. Put the MO disc up. And there we go. So I'll put this up. Switch that out for this. And I'll put these up for now. And that should be perfect. Perfect. I might do a special video on overpriced old survival horror games. That'd be pretty cool. But that's why I made a decision, you know. When I look back and I think about like shit. Fuck. Okay. When I look back and I think about all those games that me and my friends and my family had, like, man, we had a lot of these games that are worth a lot now. We had them. Sometimes we had them once or twice. I'm talking like black label Final Fantasy VII shit. Man, no joke. We had a lot of those games, bro. And see, the thing was, there was a pawn shop. In my neighborhood. In fact, there were two, and it's like they always had a stream of games. Hold on, let me see. Okay, I got it. They always had a stream of games, so it's like we'll buy a game, trade it in, buy a game, trade it in. you know, sometimes you had to add money with it to make the difference. We really kind of abused the fuck out of that system, but it is what it is. But we had a lot, man. We had a lot of those games, and a woman drawing water. I wonder what's the significance of that, if there is any. Probably not. But yeah, man, I don't want to. Now my goal is to have me a nice collection of games, and maybe not keep them forever, right? I'm not, you know, I'm not that much of a collector. But what upsets me about how we let go of a lot of the games that we had is like we let it go so easy, you know? Like if I would have like passed it down to like a niece or a nephew, I would have felt better about that. It's not even about the fact that we don't have the game. It's not the fact that we had it and then sold and you know we can't play it or whatever. I hate how we gave it up so easily. Like how we just were so careless and not knowing the value of what we had at the time. You know, if I had taken a lot of those games and like given them to friends or to like younger family members, something like that, I feel much better about it, to be honest. But I think another thing too is, you know, I want to hold on to these games that I have now, and I want to see like as time goes on, as the years go by, like which ones are going to be like the next Silent Hill, right? The next like the next Buster Groove or Buster Groove 2. You know, these games are just really super rare, hard to find, and you know worth quite a bit of money. You know, out of all the games that I have, which ones are going to be, if I hold on to it long enough, which ones am I going to be able to look at and say, damn, I still got it. See, that's what's so bad about it, right? That's what's so bad about it is having given up so much of those games from that era. You know, I'm in the position of, damn, I had that, instead of, damn, I have that, right? That's what's so bad about it, man. And so that's one of the reasons why I want to hold on to the games that I have. Maybe one day I'll be able to pass it down to, you know, a niece or a nephew or somebody younger who would just appreciate, you know, having it. Let me see real quick. Okay, I got it. Hold up. Okay. I hope I unlock that door downstairs. maybe this might sound a little ridiculous, but there are certain games that I bought digitally that I plan on buying a physical copy of, just to have it. Like Alien Isolation, that's one for sure. I'm definitely gonna get I have it digitally, but I definitely want a physical copy. I definitely want a physical copy of that game. I think that's one of the best. That's one of my favorite survival horror games. I think it's one of the best survival horror games of all time. Oh shit. I never unlocked the door. I never unlocked it. I never unlocked that damn door. Uh-huh. That's tragic. That's tragic. I never unlocked that door. Yeah, this is gonna be dangerous. This is definitely gonna be dangerous. Oh well. You fuck up, you gotta pay for it. Bum, 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 bum. He's just sitting there too. Hold up. Very dangerous. Let me see. I'm gonna just try to run past him. Fuck. God. Okay. I know it's kind of a waste, but time is of the essence. Okay. Place the rare gem to get the magnum ammo. But yeah, that's got to be a great feeling when you have that game, that physical copy. That's worth a lot of money. I want to feel that someday. But you know, it seems like certain types of games tend. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I know that was dangerous. That was dangerous. But see, when I got there, I hesitated. I'm in decent shape, but I hesitated. I thought for a second, like, okay, should I run or shoot? And when I thought that, by the time I remembered that I could like. By the time I thought of what I wanted to do, it was too late. He had already reacted to me being there. I gotta be careful, basically. Okay, what are we doing now? This might be kind of dangerous, actually. Like, this is a... This could be it. I'm just recognizing this could be it for me. Nope. Because I remembered that he was there, and I was like, if he just straight tries to shred me up, I'm fucked. Or I might be. Because I'm already kind of hurt. I gotta be more careful, though. Alright, so next we're gonna fight Yawn after a bit of preparation. I wonder why the save room music doesn't play here. Oversight? Damn. That's a lot of shells, man. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, now it's time for the Yawn fight. Well, at this point, I'm in it to win it. I don't think I ever played this much goddamn Resident Evil 1 in my life. I don't think I ever played this much of this goddamn game. I mean, I love it, but shit. That's the cool thing about pushing yourself, though. You develop a level of familiarity with the game that you never had before, you know, because again, it's so easy to just play a game, beat it, and move on. But, you know, when you try to take it to that next level, you know, beating on normal, then hard, and then unlocking all the achievements or getting the secret weapons or something, you know. In a way, it's almost like a relationship. The more time you put into it, like, hold on. I can't talk. Oh, see, look at that. Look at that. Well, at least I'm not poisoned. Okay. I was in danger.
Jill, have you found anything interesting?
Yes, but I can't see very well.
How about going down to check by yourself? I have a rope here.
Oh, do you? Well, then I'll try to go down using the rope.
Wait.
I have a rope here. I was gonna kill myself earlier.
Hey, what's going on?
Now I've done it. Sorry, Jill. Wait. I'll go and get another rope.
Barry? Barry!
You know, it's amazing what they did here. This part is actually like really cool because obviously as a player you would start moving around, you would see that tombstone and you would activate, like you like, oh well, any normal player would think if they will allow me to go down into this tomb or down this ladder, Barry must not be coming back. Right? That's what any normal player would think.
Are you there, Jill? Grab the rope!
Because even without saying it, without explicitly saying it, it's kind of implied in that moment that Barry might have betrayed you.
I'm sorry, Jill.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Sorry. I was really careless.
Are you okay, Barry? Maybe you're getting tired.
No, I'm all right. Don't worry. Jill, I found something.
Thank you. I'll take this then.
It's fucked up that Chris can't get that door open. Jill has a lot of female privilege in this game. I ain't even gonna front. She got a ton of that shit. I hesitated. I love it. You can just move right past them. So there's really no reason to kill them. Doors, kitchen zombie, and all his greatness. Oh shit. Now that was thorough. If that door up here is locked, that means that this zombie was stuck in here. Well, not stuck, but he was just kind of lingering around. it's like every time I try to like position myself to shoot him, I underestimate like his grab range on the ground like that. Typical mistake. Classic mistake. Perfect. Oh Lord, here we go. I'll leave that for now. Oh, you know I'm taking these. Why the hell did I do that? You know, I always mention that first Evil Dead survival horror game, but they also had 2 games on the PlayStation 2. I think one was Regeneration and the other one was a Fistful of Boomstick. Dude, come on, bro. I aim check. I know I aim check right there too. I fucking aim check. I absolutely fucking aim check right there. That was a no look shot. I definitely aimed G. That was cheap shit right there, bro. I ain't even gonna lie, that was just cheap shit. That was absolute cheap shit. Cheap shit. The birds didn't come out. That's a clip right there, I believe, and a ink ribbon. I don't want either. Fuck it. That bite might have been a blessing in disguise, though. But yeah, there were 2 survival horror games. I mean, there were 2 more Evil Dead games. Well, there was one that came out on PS1 and Dreamcast and PC, but there were two that came out on PS2. Now, the first one, The Fistful of Boomstick, that one was pretty bad too. I never played it, but I looked up footage of it, and it looks pretty bad. It looks bad enough to where I'll judge it and say that it's bad. That's what I meant when I said that bite might have came in handy. Allowed me to clear space. Now I don't got to come back here. I got everything. We can go to the caves now. But the second game that came out on PS2, Regeneration, that shit was actually kind of good. It was decent. It was, I'll give it that. It was decent. It was decent. But you know what's funny about it is that the first Evil Dead game was basically just another Resident Evil clone. The second one was just kind of unique in of itself. I wouldn't say unique, but I wouldn't say it necessarily tried to copy anyone. But the third Evil Dead game was a Devil May Cry ripoff, for sure. And I find that funny because for the first game, they took the inspiration from Resident Evil, a Capcom game, and for the third game, they took the inspiration from Devil May Cry, a Capcom game. I mean, it's so obvious. Like, there's like just the way the combat is so obvious that Devil May Cry was the inspiration. Like, it's more of an action game with like a horror theme, similar to Devil May Cry. It even has like this fake devil trigger mode for Ash. You know how he got possessed in the second movie? Like he has like a demon possessed mode or something. It's so stupid. But that game is actually pretty decent, surprisingly. I'll give it credit where credit is due. That game is decent. It's playable. The newest game is fantastic. I haven't played it in a while though. But the new game is fantastic. I stopped playing because the balance patches made solo queue unbearable. It made it unbearable. Like, in order to play that game and have a fair chance at winning, you got to play with an organized team with mics and shit. Like, you guys don't have to be like the best or anything like that, but you need a team of players who understand the basics, who have experience, and know what the hell they're doing. Pretty much, it's a necessity. And so the problem with that is, if I want to play the game and have a chance at winning, then I don't have a choice but to go through the trouble of getting on the Discord and hooking my mic up, and then I gotta get the audio right and all that shit, and it's too much. It's not too much. Like, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but it's like you don't always feel like doing all that. Sometimes you just want to pick a game up and not have to talk on the mic and all that shit. And it's like, I just feel like Evil Dead in its current state, or at least the state that I left it in, it's not feasible to play it in solo queue anymore. if you are playing it, you need to be playing in an organized team when everybody's mic'd up and semi-competent at least. That's the state of the game, and that's fine. But it's no longer a simple pick up and play game, and I think that's the problem. It's no longer a game you can just pick up randomly, like just let me just roll out of bed and just play it real quick and dick around. It's not that type of game anymore. You got to really get up and be ready to go in, you know, because you're not gonna be winning with in the solo queue. You're not gonna be winning playing with random people every goddamn match with no mics and shit. One person with a mic. One person, no experience, new to the game. But I'm gonna start playing it again. They announced that Mia's gonna be a character and all that, so I'm gonna start playing it again. But only on mic. That's the only way I can play that game. I can't play that game. I can't play that game solo queue anymore. I will though, just for like data, just to see where the game is at. I'll do it. That's about it. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna cut it here.